YouTube, my friends. It is your boy V3 back with another kicking Toku television reaction review. And today we are talking about Kamen Rider Fourze. 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 Koze or whatever they say. I don't know the lyrics to the theme song because I don't know Japanese. But it's pretty cool. The 22nd Kamen Rider show, the 13th Heisei, and it's part of Heisei Phase 2, also known as Neo Heisei. I call it Neo Heisei, you know. And it's pretty cool. It aired at the same time as Go Busters. They did cross over in like Superhero Taisen and stuff. I've already reviewed the Superhero Taisen movie, by the way. And the weird thing about Fourze and Go Busters was Go Busters kind of felt like it had some Kamen Rider. It felt a lot like Kamen Rider because it was more practical and stuff, you know? And then Kamen Rider Fourze felt more like Super Sentai almost because of like the tone and stuff. So that was really weird. But I think it really works for it because it takes place in a high school, and Kamen Rider never takes place in a high school. I don't think it's taken place in a high school since then. I mean, in the current show, Kamen Rider Geo, I think he's in high school, but it doesn't like take place at his high school. But yeah, I mean, the current Kamen Riders are always young guys, but they're more like 20s, like in their 20s or something. But this guy was in high school. You know, Jintaro was in high school. So that's that. But yeah, as I said, 13th Heisei. It came after Kamen Rider O's. They had a movie war. I might review that later. But it's pretty cool. It's from 2011. So this was another anniversary series, the 40th anniversary of Kamen Rider. But here's a fun fact that you might not have known: the 50th anniversary of Space Flight. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that, because I didn't know that until I did research for this review, and I really loved this show and I watched it. It's one of my favorites. I thoroughly enjoy it. My cat is named after one of the Kamen Rider Fourze movie characters, Kamen Rider Narishiko. Well, you know Naughty Cat? Yeah, she's named after one of the Kamen Riders from this continuity. So that's pretty cool. But so the whole thing takes place at Emengawa High School, where all this strange stuff is happening, like monsters are appearing, and all the monsters are actually just people in this show, which is also really rare. It's a very different Kamen Rider show. Because all the monsters are people that turn into monsters, and for the most part, have control over what they do. And it's like Jintaro, who becomes Kamen Rider Fourze, is kind of a bad boy, but he just likes the bad boy style, like the aesthetic of being a bad boy, but he's actually a really good guy. Like he wants to become friends with everybody, but he like looks like a gang leader. It's just weird. But yeah, you know, he reunites with his childhood friend, who's this like outer space nerd, Yuki Joima, and she's actually played by an actress who quit acting to join a cult. I think she came back to acting. She was also in a Hentai Kamen, but yeah, that actress joined a cult. I made some memes about that on Patreon. Uh, and then there's also this kind of school loner, Kingo Utohashi, who I had to look up all these names because I couldn't remember them. And he was gonna try to be Kamen Rider Fourze, but he's not really in good enough health. And what happens of him later in the show is pretty crazy. But they're fighting all these Zodiarts. First, there's like Scorpion and stuff, and we get Virgo and all these different Zodiarts. You know, the ones you think are dudes are ladies. The ones you think are ladies are dudes. It's pretty crazy. Welcome to Japanese television. But he's not the only Kamen Rider. There's a second Kamen Rider called Kamen Rider Meteor, who's actually really cool. I love Kamen Rider Meteor. So yeah, they have to protect their school and stop all these people from turning into space monsters. And they befriend most of the, like, any of the students that turn into space monsters, they befriend. It's not always that way with the teachers. In fact, here's a bit of a spoiler. I'm getting into spoiler territory right now. So, here we go. One of the villains is actually a good guy. And they have a satellite where they store the Zodiarts after they've been defeated. So whenever, like, an adult who is turned bad is defeated, they get put in suspended animation on this satellite. But then that character dies later. But he's the only one that had access to that satellite. So in the Kamen Rider multiverse, there's a satellite above the Earth right now. And it's full of people in suspended animation who are just never going to be woken up or cared for or anything. Eventually, that thing's going to break down and they're all just going to die. But yeah, it's got some really good effects. The CG, I felt like, was almost better in this show than it normally is in Kamen Rider, to be completely honest. The suits were very good. Kamen Rider Fourze had a lot of forms. This is when we were into heavy form territory, you know? Like Kamen Rider Double or Kamen Rider W onward was all forms, dude. All about the forms. That sells more toys, keeps the show alive. And the season was originally supposed to be about the Kamen Rider Club investigating different urban legends about past Kamen Riders. And it would have had other Kamen Riders make guest appearance and stuff. But they cut that because it seemed almost like Kamen Rider Decade. And Decade only happened like, what, 4 years before this? 3 or 4... it wasn't long, like 3 years maybe before this. So they didn't want it to be too much like Decade. Whoopsie. So that's too bad. That's too bad. But it's still really good. I think this is a very, very good show. It doesn't have a lot of riders. It doesn't have a lot of riders, and it seems like lots of riders is kind of something they want now. But in the show itself, it was only Fourze and Meteor, and then Narishiko in the movies. So that was it. That was all. And I feel like lots of riders is kind of a Heisei show trait. They like that, so that's interesting to me. But yeah, Kamen Rider Fourze, I feel it had a really light-hearted, optimistic tone, and Kamen Rider can get in modern Kamen Rider can get pretty philosophical. You know, it can get really, it can get dark. Like Kamen Rider Gaim, dark, dude, dark show. I'll be reviewing that soon, probably like 2 shows from now. Maybe 2 episodes of this from now, I'll be doing Kamen Rider Gaim, because I want to do Wizard before I do Gaim, since Wizard came right after Fourze. But, you know, if you just want to watch a really light-hearted Kamen Rider show, Fourze is a really light-hearted show. You know? But if you want something a bit more serious, you know, maybe watch Wizard or Gaim or Drive. But Fourze is a very lighthearted Kamen Rider. Probably one of the most lighthearted Kamen Riders I have ever seen. And that's enough about this Toku show. If you want to support our Toku show, Toku King, be sure to donate to that either via Indiegogo, or via Patreon. You get rewards for both. Super fun, super swag, super YOLO. Those are things people still say in my imagination. So that's it. Thank you all once again for your support, and I will be seeing you all later.